Welcome all to another session. Today we are going to discover what are your deeper intentions for decluttering, right? What are the main reasons you would like to declutter? And I decided to do this topic today because I was looking at my history of lives on Insight Timer, and I recognized that this one actually had a lot of people on it. And it's been a really long time since I did it. So I wanted to repeat it because I'm sure new things are going to come out, and this is a journey that we are all on. So, hi Becca, um, happy to be here. So let's transition into the session doing an exercise, a breathing exercise, okay? So I invite you guys to just grab one of your hands and put it on your heart in the center here, on your heart chakra. Put the other hand below on your solar plexus, okay? And my invitation is for you to close your eyes if you can and just take a few deep breaths and notice how your hands move. Make the inhale as long as you want. You can hold your breath as long as you want, and you can exhale through the nose if you can, or through the mouth for as long as you want, and just do that a few times and notice how you feel. In the exhale, you can make a noise if you want. You can release tension, or you can just release anything that you no longer want or need, and it can sound however feels good to you. And if you don't know what that is, allow yourself to make noise. I have a tendency to don't make noise because I'm afraid of expressing, I'm afraid of taking space, being loud, and it feels very uncomfortable for me to actually make noise. And so sometimes you just have to do it. Just take a couple more deep breaths. Connect with your body. Now I want you guys to put your hands together. Wrap your hands like this. And I want you guys to open your hands like this and visualize that you have a beautiful rainbow. You have a beautiful rainbow between your hands. Okay? And now I invite you to put that rainbow wherever you feel you need it the most. Just put it wherever you want. And just breathe in. And feel it in you. And then come back to the session. That exercise, we found it, my wife, myself, and my daughter Eva. We were working in Barcelona, and I remember we were in a square in the city center, and then I was supposed to lead us into somewhere. So I started to follow my intuition, and I said, let's go that way, and then let's go that way. And then when I was walking through the street, I looked at the name of the street, and I couldn't believe the name of the street because the street was called Wellington Street. Wellington is the city in New Zealand where Samantha and I met. So we were both looking at the name, said, I had no idea that there was a street here called Wellington, and we just stumbled upon it. So we kept walking down, and then we ran into a shop of moms in business, and every one of them was delivering a beautiful thing. So there was a mom that was involved with bees and she was selling honey. There was another mom that was involved face painting, so Eva got her face painted. And then there was another woman that was doing mindfulness for kids, and she had a book. So Samantha bought the book, and one of the exercises is to make a rainbow and then to place it where you want. And I love the exercise so much that I do it a lot. So happy to share it with you guys. And today's topic is gonna be probably very emotional, right? You are going to notice overwhelm, anxiety, emotional reasons why you can't declutter, or categories in your home or places in your home where you notice that you're having a hard time getting into and making decisions. And many times the outside is always a reflection of what's happening inside. And many times, from my experience of helping a lot of people do this work, what's outside, it is a reflection of what's happening inside. And if you have physical clutter somewhere in your home, there is some physical clutter somewhere inside of you, emotionally and mentally speaking. And sometimes moving that energy, moving those emotions, it is necessary in order for the physical clutter to move at the same time, because everything is a reflection. So today we're going to be talking about finding your deeper intentions for decluttering. And before I get started, I will invite you guys in the chat to share what would you like to get out of this session today? What would you like to get out? Of course, we're going to explore finding your deeper intentions, but what's present for you the most today? And I invite you to, if you want, close your eyes and breathe a couple times and then just sense what is the most present thing for you right now that you would like to express, to cover, to ask, to share, to acknowledge. What is it? Compared to my home, it is a lot of emotional clutter inside, if you say so. Identify what blockages I have internally that is holding me back. Clutter can equal and heal traumas of any kind. You can declutter and it can simply reappear if you don't work through emotions and trauma. Absolutely. Motivation. Challenges living with a person who loves to collect. Amazing. Thank you guys for sharing. Is there anything else that is present that you guys would like to put into the space? Motivation, feeling overwhelmed, unsure how, where to get started. I have never heard that. I don't know how to get started. I'm just kidding. It's a very normal thing. I tidy then make a mess again. Sometimes I see I need to declutter, then just tidy stuff to the same. Yeah, so reverting back to what it was. Why do I need so many things to fill that hole inside? Beautiful, Melanie. I cannot feel free when I am caught up. Yeah, I lose things. Amazing. All the above, exclamation mark. Yeah, majority of the times we all can relate to majority of the things at some degree. Fluctuations in energy and motivation, and feeling like it is procrastination. Yeah, see, I hear you. And guess who created a course about procrastination not long ago? Me. Still don't know how to start. I wasn't brave enough and didn't take time to find a way to start. So Christine, thank you for owning that. Thank you for taking responsibility. That is the first step, to take responsibility. Those things weigh me down. Why declutter and then go back to my mess with things standing around in the whole apartment? Ask myself, what could this mean? Yeah, what does that mean, Lydia? What does that mean for you right now? That resonates. Living in a small apartment with limited storage, mega procrastination and overwhelm. Yeah. Yeah, thank you guys so much for sharing so many things. Becca says, curious to know more about how clutter relates to the ways trauma steals power. Yeah, Becca, I can share a couple of stories um, if you guys want. I think I talked about them before, but very clear connections with childhood wounds and trauma with the way they are cluttering their home now. And I'm talking in their 50s and 60s and 40s. So, um, grew up in a house with lots of clutter, so it's probably my subconscious comfort zone. I need to change this. JV, thank you for sharing that. Thank you for owning that. And thank you for being willing to want to change that, to want to find a way. And it is okay if you don't know right now what that looks like. Difficulty letting go emotions the items bring up. Yeah, emotional attachment to belongings, very important. Clutter with medical trauma is probably the biggest hurdle. Thank you, Amy. Yeah. I spend hours moving little things around, but then can't see any difference or even remember what I did, so can't hold on to any sense of accomplishment to build on. Yeah, Marjorie, I hear you. That's why um, we learned really quickly when we were doing these sessions how important it is to create a visual transformation that you can see and you can experience. And once you can create one, then you can keep going because you have motivation, you prove to yourself that you can do it, and you have a physical transformation that makes you feel so different, and you just become a different person. And then you are amazed that, wow, I can't believe this space looks like this. I can't believe this is what I have done. Now I want to have my entire home needs to look like this because that's what I'm choosing. There is no going back. So it's very, very important. Decision making, yeah. The thrill of thrifting is my therapy. Zen, I love thrifting too. I do love it. I love finding treasures. I love making do with things I find. So I do like to collect things too. But I try to find a balance. And I try not to let those things encroach in my living space to the point that it becomes frustrating and overwhelming, right? And this is always a decision. How to hold on to the feelings of accomplishments. Yeah, Becca, very important, right? When we are trying to declutter and we make a little accomplishment, how can we stay there as long as possible? And there are practices, right? There are practices that you can close your eyes, you can do something that what we did, you can even put your hands in your heart, and then you can remember something that you have done that evoked that feeling in yourself, something that you did that you felt proud of yourself, something that you did that you say, wow, Emilio, I can't believe you did that. That's amazing. So you just put your hands in your heart and then you go back to that moment and then you feel what you felt, and then you are bringing that emotion to the present moment and you are feeling what you were feeling then. And then that's a way to bring a strong positive emotion back, right? The same way that we go back to negative things over and over and over and over, we could do the same with positive things too. And instead of increasing and amplifying our worry, our anxiety, our overwhelm, we could amplify our proudness, our acceptance, our capabilities, everything that we have done that we are proud of. Sometimes we should invest more energy and more attention into those rather than focusing on the negatives, right? So I don't feel like the only one. Where do I find the desire to unclutter even when knowing it feels yuck? Yeah, my mom grew up during the Depression. Hoarding runs in the family. Husbands too. Yeah, Melanie. Yeah. I love going to charity shops, but now I say to myself, do I really need it? 9 times out of 10, now I don't buy something. Yeah. So guys, thank you so much for sharing all these things. They're beautiful awareness pieces, right? Beautiful pieces of reality. Um, but yeah, Esme, you are most welcome. Thank you for this positive energy, Emilio, and all. Yeah, you are most welcome, Esme. So what we are trying to do today here is first, I would like to really accept what is first, okay? It's very important to accept how things are now. It's very important to really look around and be able to be with what is. And I know this is hard for so many. I know this is hard for me sometimes to do, because sometimes we don't like change, sometimes we don't like what we see, sometimes we are not proud of what we have done. But the truth is that no matter what happened, no matter what we did, no matter what we will do, right now we are here. Right now, this is what is. Okay? So from this place, then it's important to take ownership. Okay? What does it mean to take ownership? To look around and to accept that you are a part of this. Okay? Whatever I see in my life, there are beautiful things I love, there are things I don't like. I need to look at those things I don't like, and I need to question, Emilio, how are you a part of this? Because clearly, if it's here, I have done something to make this a reality in my life, right? And then when you can do that, you can start becoming aware of the choices that you have made, how things have happened, accept that, and then from this present moment, you are going to start making new choices. How can you start making new choices with motivation, with confidence? By really understanding the reasons why you want to declutter. Okay, decluttering is not something fun. Decluttering is a chore for many. Decluttering is an overwhelming task. So focusing our energy in decluttering is very burdening, it's very heavy. But if you focus on what's gonna happen when I finish decluttering, then all of a sudden you are transforming the way you are looking at this. Okay? So instead of you thinking, I need to declutter my home, you can think, I want to feel this way, I want to do this activity, I want to have this relationship with my family, I want to be able to do this, so I'm going to declutter so that I can do that. And all of a sudden the decluttering becomes a journey towards what you really want, not a destination in itself. And many times there are different ways of doing this process, okay? But sometimes looking at the frustrations that we have and then using the contrast technique, okay? The contrast technique, I talk about the contrast technique when we were talking about the law of attraction, right? So we normally have a tendency, majority of us, to see what we don't like. And we identify, I don't like this, or this doesn't feel good. Okay, so once you know that, you are going to use the contrast to flip it. Okay, so I don't like this, so what do I want instead? And then instead of you focusing your attention and energy into what you don't want, when you flip it, you're gonna say, oh, that's what I want. So let's try and do this with you guys. Let's just tell me something concrete that you don't want or you don't like or is frustrating you, and then do the exercise of flipping it. Okay? And then instead of you naming what you don't like, you are going to name what is it that you want instead. Okay? And I invite you to do this with something as concrete as possible. So don't say, I feel overwhelmed, so I want to feel free. Try to go, what is the specific space? What is the specific physical clutter? Or what is the specific thing that is frustrating you? And then how can you flip it? And how can you name it in a way that is clear, and in a way that when instead of you focusing on what you don't want, you are flipping it into what is it that you want. And I hope that you guys can do that. And I am not looking at the chat right now, but I am looking now. Okay, so let's just do a few examples, okay? Just a few. I don't want to not be prepared. Without a prepared go back for a disaster. Okay, so BD, so you don't want that, so what do you want instead? uh, Adequate room to flip through the closet rack. I don't want to keep buying stuff I don't need. I want to feel free with less. Amazing, Kate. So you want to feel free with less, and you don't want to keep buying stuff that you don't need. Amazing. I want to be prepared. I want to have a prepared go back for an emergency. Amazing. I want to identify with my healthy self today and stop over identifying with disability. Amazing, Amy. I don't want my computer desk to have anything on it. I want a clean, open space to work. Amazing. Amazing. I want a vase with flowers only on the table. Amazing. So guys, just respond really quickly. When you have done this exercise, if you focus on what you want and you forget about what you don't want, what do you think is going to happen? You are going to become obsessive with what you want. What do you think is going to happen? I don't want decades of papers related to all aspects of my life. I want to know what I have, and it only applies to now. Not to feel embarrassed when someone comes in my home. So Sen, that is how people are going to feel when they come into your home, but how do you want to feel in your home? I think that is more important, because I want you to feel well in your home. I don't want someone else to feel well in your home. I feel lighter and more willing. You will start doing something to achieve what you want. Yeah, T, absolutely. Things standing around free space like on the tables. I want to feel comfortable and relaxed at home. Yeah, so I want ease. Energy towards want versus not want. Yeah, so just imagine, guys, if you start doing this strategy in every area of your life, in every area of your home, all of a sudden, instead of you saying, I don't want this clutter, I don't want these papers, I don't want to have stuff on the table, you are going to say, I want a table with just flowers on it. So most likely you're going to say, oh, I have to get flowers. Oh yeah, boom, shopping list, flowers. And you're going to put them there. And then you're going to say, I don't want any dirty dishes. You say, I want a clean sink. I want a countertop ready to cook on. I want a couch ready to sit on or to lay on. I want a, and then you keep going. All of a sudden, you are going to start focusing on what is it that you want. When you focus on what you want, are you going to feel more motivated or less motivated? More. And if you feel more motivated, do you think you are going to take more action or less action? More action, right? And when you take more action and you start seeing results, do you think you are going to feel more confident or less confident? More confident, right? So just imagine if you just get started where you can. Okay, right now maybe your entire home is a mess. Let's go back to the first step. First step is accepting what is. My house is a mess. Okay, it's a mess right now. I cannot do this and transform it. I mean, if you hire professional organizers, a team, and they help you, maybe you can transform it in a couple of days or 3 days. But if you're going to do it alone, it's going to take time, okay? And also, it's not only the physical things that you have to tackle. Remember, taking ownership. You need to take ownership about what happened and how things are. And you have a part of this, right? So that part is your habits, the way you think, the way you were raised, unconscious needs that you are probably covering with clutter, past trauma that are conditioning you in the way you operate, communication with family members that may have a collection of things that you don't understand. So everything has something to do with you too. So acceptance, take ownership, and then start identifying the things that you don't want, and then flip them into what you truly want. And then all of a sudden, that alone is going to help you find beautiful reasons of why you want to declutter. You are going to start discovering activities you want to be doing, feelings you need in the space, what is going to produce those feelings, what is going to evoke those feelings in you, because that's going to be different for each of you. And that's why someone said, I want to have flowers on my kitchen table. Okay, for you, having flowers is going to evoke, most likely it's going to be beautiful, it's going to evoke calmness, it's going to make you feel well. So what else do you need to evoke what you are looking for? And then you start doing this process and you are going to start discovering. But normally we can look at this from different angles, right? And just find the angle that excites you, okay? Sometimes doing the contrast technique can be really helpful. Sometimes looking at the frustrations and flipping them can be very helpful. Sometimes thinking about the activities that you want to do in every space. Okay, what's really important for you on each space? What do you need to do those activities? And then when you start decluttering, all of a sudden you will have more clarity about what do I need to keep, what do I need to let go of. And this is all your choice, okay? You don't have to let go of things that you love. You don't have to let go of things that you don't want to, but you have to make a conscious decision and you have to take responsibility. If you have a closet this big and you are choosing to save all this stuff, what is the decision you are making? You are making the decision of crowding that closet. When you have a crowded closet, what's going to happen? Are you going to be able to maintain it, or are you going to have constant clutter? So finding the balance between how much space you have and how many things you are storing, it's also a basic rule. If you live in a big home, you're going to have more space. If you live in a one-bedroom apartment with only one closet, you can't have as many things. It just doesn't work. The math doesn't work. And then that is your choice. Do you choose to have clutter, or do you choose to live in a functional space? And then that fine balance is going to look different for each of you guys. Some people, physical clutter can mean something completely different for each of you. Okay? For someone, having a few things may be clutter. For someone else, having things everywhere may be okay. And they don't consider that physical clutter and it doesn't bother them. So it's very personal. Okay? So, is there a way to go through that? Oh, sorry. Let me see. Is there a way to go through that brings up traumatic events with healthy emotional detachment? Not to relive it all. Yeah, Amy, about trauma, again, you don't need to get lost in the details of what happened, right? You don't have to get lost of and relive all of those things that are going to re-traumatize you. But what you need to work through is, how is that trauma showing up now in your life? Okay? So how is that trauma conditioning the way you live now? So you don't have to go back and really look at every detail, relive everything that happened to you. But what you can look at is, how am I reacting now in the present moment to those triggers? And maybe, for example, maybe someone had a car accident, okay? And they had a traumatic event. And then right now, today, in the present moment, something that triggers them is a honk, for example. Someone honking, right? That like throws them off. Like their nervous system overreacts to that honking to the point that they become overwhelmed, right? So I don't need you to go back and relive everything that happened, but you have to cope with that present moment trigger. And you need to retrain your nervous system to become aware of that trigger and to slowly, by different ways, there are different techniques you can use, but you have to learn how to manage that trauma in the present moment so that you can move forward in a way that serves you best, right? Without being completely conditioned and limited by by what happened to you. So for example, I have a couple of examples I can share about physical clutter and trauma if you guys are interested. What about when one partner is unaffected by clutter and the other is annoyed by clutter? So Cami, communication. A couple tools that work really well: imago dialogue or non-verbal communication, non-violent communication. When there are two different views of the reality and you are living together in the same space, the only way to deal with it is to communicate and to set physical boundaries. Okay? So if there are two of you living in a home and you have 3 bedrooms, I'm just putting a scenario, maybe one bedroom is for one person, the other bedroom is for the other person, and then the other bedroom maybe is for guests, and then everything else is common. So you can say, okay, in your bedroom is your space, do whatever you want with it. In my bedroom is my space, I do whatever I want with it. Common spaces, we need to agree on how they look like. Okay? I have seen in couples, one person is always cooking and the other person doesn't cook. So the person who cooks has ownership in the kitchen because they are the ones taking action there. If they both cook, they need to agree on the system. They need to both agree on how does the kitchen looks like. Okay? And we need to agree on that, because if you don't, it's going to become conflict. It's going to become someone won't cook because they won't feel invited or they don't know where things are. And then you can choose. Again, we are always choosing. I want you guys to really remember this. In every moment, we are always choosing something, consciously or unconsciously, but we are always making choices. And when we can step back and take ownership of what we are doing and choosing, everything becomes easier. Okay? And I will go to the stories, but in here, guys, we are using executive functioning skills, a lot of them. Okay? Executive functioning skills are skills that we all use on a day-to-day basis. So what's happening here, you are using metacognition, is your ability to be present, is your ability to reflect about what you are doing, is your ability to step into the observer's mind. Basically, you are watching yourself acting in the movie of your life. You are the main character and you are sitting on the couch. Oh, wow, look at Emilio, now he's doing the talk, now he's doing that, he's feeling this way. So you are detaching and you have the ability to see, how am I feeling, what am I doing, how am I acting, what am I saying. And then when you can nurture that capacity, you're going to be able to start choosing something different. Okay? And then we are using cognitive flexibility. That is another beautiful executive functioning skill that allows us to put ourselves in someone else's shoes and see the reality from a different point of view. It also allows us to be flexible in how we operate and be able to be flexible in how we do things, how we show up, what's okay, what's not okay. We become more fluid, a little bit more, flexible, thinking, emotionally, physically maybe. Emotional self-regulation is another executive functioning skill that we all use, and that is your ability to self-regulate. This is really helpful when you are feeling overwhelmed, when you are feeling anxiety, when you are confronting your partner and you are having a elevated conversation. All of a sudden you need to, both of you hopefully need to emotionally self-regulate. Use your metacognition to become aware of what's happening. Use your cognitive flexibility to be able to see the reality from different angles. It's not only about you and what you see, it's also what the other person is perceiving, validating their experience, validating what they need, being validated with what you need, and then starting a communication from that place. So lots of things are happening here in the background, right? That so many times we are not aware of. And those skills live when we have anxiety. Yeah, absolutely. That's why, see, when we are not feeling well, everything everything disappears because all of our capacity that we have becomes this, and we are just focusing on, we are completely collapsed into that anxiety, into that feeling of overwhelm. It becomes so uncomfortable, so intense, so we just want to disappear, right? So we collapse and we don't have the ability to see options. That's why the best thing to do in those cases is to find ways to emotionally self-regulate, self-care, mindfulness, doing something that calms you down, taking space, setting a physical boundary, going for a walk, taking a bath, doing meditation, listening to music, moving your body, something somatic is really helpful. Find what helps you calm down. And then when you are feeling more calm, that's when you can go back and say, okay, how can I tackle this? How can I have this conversation? How can I approach this decluttering project? How can I tackle that decision that before I was having a hard time with? And then I promise you that you are going to see things from a different angle, from a different perspective. But yeah, it's normal to just shut down. And that's why our job in that case is to, first of all, recognize I am not feeling well, I am too elevated, I am too emotionally charged, and I don't want to keep going this way because I'm going to say something I'm going to regret. I'm going to make a decision that is going to be very poor. I just rather take space and then come back to this when I feel better. And when we start taking ownership of that, claiming what we need and taking action on it, things are going to start changing too. And when you do this, what do you think is going to happen to other people? If you have a partner, if you have children, if you have your parents, if you have people that live with you, co-workers, what do you think they're going to do when they see you do that? When they see you, sorry, I'm not feeling really well right now, I just need to take a break. I am feeling emotionally charged right now and I don't want to say something I will regret, and I need time to just ground. So just give me 5 minutes and I'll come back, or let's have this conversation later, or I'll put it in the calendar, or I'll call you later. What do you think you are modeling for others? You are giving them the opportunity to do the same too. So, okay, you guys want one of the stories about trauma and clutter? Yeah, and okay, let's choose one story. They are both similar, but so one story, okay? This was before we went to Spain for the sabbatical year. Went to this house, okay, and we were helping this woman, and then she was finding herself spreading her things everywhere in the house. So she had things everywhere in the house, okay? She didn't understand why. She didn't understand the reasoning behind why am I putting these things there? Why is this thing in the living room? Why is this thing in the bedroom? Why is this thing in the kitchen? So she didn't really understand what was happening and she needed help. So just following the steps, right? So she identified what she didn't want anymore. Okay, I don't want to have physical clutter everywhere in my home. She identified what she did the contrast. This is what I want. I want to have a house that supports me. I want to have a house that I feel proud of. I want to have a house that allows me to relax. I want to have a house that allows me and my husband to interact without conflict. So she started naming everything that she wants. Okay, let's work towards that. So we started working, and then we started to face an emotional wall. Of course we did, because this is not just about the physical thing, right? This is all about why are these physical things here? Where are they coming from? And what is the need that is being met by all of these belongings spread out everywhere? So sat on the couch, started to breathe, say, okay, let's just emotionally self-regulate a little bit, and let's just stay present for a couple of minutes. Okay, and then how are you feeling now? And then we started doing tapping. I don't know why I started doing tapping. Okay, let's do some tapping. Then even though I am feeling overwhelmed, I choose to love and accept myself. And she said, I cannot love myself right now. Okay, can you accept yourself? I cannot accept myself. Okay, can you accept that the situation right now is like this? Yeah, I can accept that. Okay, so even though I am feeling overwhelmed, I accept that right now I have clutter. So she wasn't able to love herself. She wasn't able to accept herself. So just imagine, how can you declutter and create a home that is going to support you if you cannot love yourself first? Okay, so that's a big wound there. So we keep going with the different statements, and then until we click into one, and then she started to bawl, she started to cry. And then I asked her, where are you? Like, how old are you? 3 years old. Okay, so where are you? I'm at home. What's happening? And then she just started bawling. Bawling, bawling, bawling. Okay, yes, everything is welcome here. We are here, you are safe. What's happening to that little girl? Because that's not you anymore. You are here. You are in 2022, and then you are safe, you are in your home, you are with us, and you are not there. Okay, so detachment from that, very important. And then she was there, she was in the house. And then she realized, I can be myself, I don't have space, all my things are always in a little suitcase, I cannot spread them out. And then I feel like I don't matter. I feel I'm no one. I cannot be myself, I cannot express myself, I don't deserve this. And then she started crying, because then she connected, like, wow, that is why I spread everything out in my home, because I am trying to fulfill that need. I want to express, I want to be myself, I want to claim as much space as possible, because that's what I didn't get when I was little. And then she started to connect, wow, I can't believe the impact of all of these things with my husband. I can't believe I'm doing this to him. So she started recognizing all these things, and then she calmed down, and then she regrouped, and then we came back, and then, okay, so with all of this new information, like, what do you need? How do you want to move forward? What are you becoming? What are you choosing for yourself? And then we started to put names into the rooms. And then she had a room, a home office, and she brought down, I can't remember the name that she brought down, but she mentioned a name that really uplifted her. And then we brought it down, and then we put it on the room. And then we started to declutter that room. And then we started to declutter the entryway. And then we went to the living room. And then all of a sudden, the intention was completely different. And her understanding and awareness of why the clutter was there was very clear. And she transformed the way that she was going to meet that need that she had. That unconsciously she was meeting that need with physical clutter, spreading everywhere. So that this is my home, this is who I am, and this is how I can do it, right? But now she can do that in a different way. So that is one example of a story of how someone was cluttering for a reason that was unconscious. Of course, it wasn't intentional, but it was happening. It was an unconscious choice. So that's just one story. Emilio, you are a deep, powerful healer. So gifted, and such a blessing to everyone to touch. Thank you, Amy. So that is one story that connects very clearly deep trauma, inner child wound, with how that it's conditioning who you are, how you show up now, 40, almost 50 years later. So you can imagine if you just go to the room and start touching physical things, but you don't have space and time to heal these deep connections, emotionally and mentally speaking, the success about changing something physical is gonna be relevant, because we can make a transformation, but we're gonna leave, and that person, what are they going to do? They're gonna do what they have done. Because if nothing changes here, nothing is gonna change outside. It's gonna be a patch. It's not gonna be like a solution, a long-term solution. Was the room name a person or place? Sharon, the room, it was a name, I can't remember the name, honestly. I think I took a picture of it, but I can't remember the name. But basically, whatever inspires you, right? Some people say this is the goddess's room, or this is the where creative stuff happens. So this is where whatever affirmation, sentence, name evokes confidence, creativity, happiness, whatever evokes a smile in you, you can use that name. And every time you read that name or that sentence, it's going to evoke that in you. And that is going to be a beautiful, deep intention of why you are decluttering. Because all of a sudden, something that for this person was a burden, something that was confusing, something that was emotionally charging, something that was so heavy, became a means to get what she wanted. So all of a sudden transforming and creating that deep intention that she really had, that was trying to come out of her but couldn't because it was blocked by all this trauma and all these beliefs and all these unconscious patterns that she was following. All of a sudden they kind of bubble up, and then she was able to become aware of them. And when you become aware of something, what happens? You have options. If you know that you are doing something and it becomes conscious to you, all of a sudden now you can do something to transform it. But if it stays unconscious in your shadows and you are not aware of it, you won't be able to change it, but you are going to be conditioned by it. This is why doing somatic work sometimes is so helpful. Somatic work means you are working with your body, you are working with your nervous system. And when your nervous system reacts to something, that is a clear sign that something is happening. And if you can connect the dots, you can then expose your nervous system, micro-expose it to that thing slowly, and then you are retraining your nervous system to start reacting differently to the same thing. Yeah, when we feel it, we can heal it. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so that was one example of a beautiful story that the last couple of sessions we did before going to Spain, it was really weird because normally we will work for 6 hours and we will do, I would say, probably half an hour to 45 minutes of kind of looking for the space, setting goals, becoming clear about what we are doing, and then we will start doing the physical work. But the last 2 sessions, it was 3-4 hours of emotional work, sitting on the couch, and then 3 hours of physical work. And it just went there naturally because that was needed. Sometimes you are not ready to step into the physical work like that because you need to do the internal work, the invisible work first. This healing work, this becoming aware of what's present for you work, this becoming aware of your deep intentions, right? What are you? And then we can do an exercise. We have 10 minutes left, so we can do an exercise that may help you connect with these deep intentions. Okay, are you guys willing to do a little exercise? And then you can use the chat. It's basically, I'm going to start a sentence and you guys are gonna finish the sentence, okay? So you can use the chat. So the first sentence is, when I finish decluttering, I will be able to. So when I finish decluttering, I will be able to breathe. Breathe. Do whatever I want. Spend more time with those I love. Feel free and lighter. Create. Be at ease. Write my book. Invite people over. Think clearly. So I just want you guys to become aware that these are already really beautiful, deep intentions, right? Relax. have clarity and focus, be able to rest, further develop my medium psychic skills. Yeah, so you are going to create time and space for something new to appear, right? That right now maybe it's being wasted or is being used for something that is not serving you, right? So you can be more specific with the question, right? Because maybe you can say, when I finish the decluttering my kitchen, or when I finish decluttering my bedroom, I will be able to, and then you finish the sentence, right? And then you can go space by space with this sentence, and all of a sudden you are going to start discovering like what's gonna happen after I finish decluttering. And then that's what I want you guys to connect with. That is the deepest intention. And you can do a few rounds, right? So for example, if you say, when I finish decluttering, I will be able to, and then you say, think clearly. Okay, be more specific. When I can think clearly, I will be able to, and then keep until you go deep enough that you have something very concrete and very specific. And hopefully something that when you read it, you feel light up. You feel like, oh, yeah, that's what I want. And then you feel in your body, this is not something mental. This is something that you say, and it feels like, oh, a wave of light is coming through you. And you just connect, and you most likely will feel even a tingling in your body. And that's the sign that you are resonating with that intention so much that everything else becomes irrelevant. And then you're going to go for it no matter what, because you are already attracted to that. And it won't be you pushing yourself through the process. That thing, that intention is attracting you, and you're just going to gravitate towards it. And it's such a different approach, rather than you pushing yourself to declutter my home. Just the words don't sound really appealing. I need to declutter my home. Yeah, I can't wait to do it. Versus, I want to think clearly. I want to invite people over and have so much fun. I want to be able to spend more time crafting my new business, or I want to be able to spend more time with my family. Whatever that is for you that lights you up, that's what you have to connect with. Feel energized and motivated, not overwhelmed. Yeah, so Zen, do more of that. That's the recipe, right? Anytime you find something that makes you feel energized, that makes you feel more motivated and less overwhelmed, do more of that. Try to do more of that. And when it comes to decluttering, again, we are just another executive functioning skill that we are using here, a few of them. Task initiation, right? What are we initiating? So depending what you initiate, depending on how you verbalize what you are about to initiate, it's going to trigger emotions in you. It can trigger burden, heaviness, overwhelm, or it can trigger motivation, excitement, clarity, willingness. And it's the same task. You're just looking at that task from different angles, and that's task initiation. Task completion. Instead of you saying, I am going to declare my home, how does that make you feel? I don't know where to get started. Well, I don't know how to get started either. It's such a big task, right? But what happens if you say, instead of saying, I am going to declare my home in 1 hour today, you say, I am going to clean my kitchen table and have flowers, and that's gonna make me feel X, Y, and Z. All of a sudden, it's so precise, it's so concise, it's such an easy before and after. It's easy for you to complete. And then what's gonna happen when you complete the task? You are gonna feel motivated. You are gonna prove to yourself that you can do this. And the only thing that you did is changed the task completion. What does it mean to complete this project? I am not decluttering my home right now. I am tackling the kitchen table. Now I'm gonna tackle my calorie. Now I'm gonna tackle my counters. Now I'm gonna tackle the fridge. Now I'm gonna tackle my plates and my mugs. Now I'm gonna tackle the entry closet. Just the upper section. tomorrow I will do the shoes. The day after tomorrow I will do the jackets. So you see what I mean? And all of a sudden, because you are completing tasks, all of a sudden you feel less overwhelmed, you feel more motivated, more confident, and the only thing that you have done is reframe that task completion. What does it mean to complete the task? That's another beautiful executive functioning skill, task completion, right? Don't want my children to deal with it if I quick past. I live with my grandson, so every day is decluttering as he breaks so many things. Yeah, Andrea, I remember when Eva was little, right? And she was like, but then it's a stage. I don't know how old your grandson is, but it's a stage, right? And it's amazing how much you can talk to kids. When they start talking, and even before that, they really understand sometimes way more than we think. And if you can be emotionally self-regulated, you don't grab their hand and say, what are you doing? You say, no, that's not. You know what happens if you do this? And then you explain things. Sometimes I was impressed in how much Eva was able to understand. And then she will come to me and explain, Papi, we don't do this because then it's a blah, 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 blah. And then she will tell me the story and I will be amazed. So yeah. Yeah, Bodil, this is being recorded. All the recordings are available on my website. So you can find them. You go to my Inside Timer profile link and you click on the link in there, on the About tab. And then you will find an option that says Inside Timer Live Session Recordings. Emilio, a great comment by our classmate BD. What is it? Let me see if I can find it. So I have started doing fun things even though I am continuously transforming from clutter. Postponement is a killer of dreams. When I began allowing myself joy daily, I found it easier to take small steps toward a healthier living space. The compounding interest of joy plus daily steps is amazing. Amazing, BD. Thank you for sharing that. And in here, as you guys see, she's putting into action, accepting what is. Okay, you have to accept what is. This is what is right now. I have to accept it because it is what it is. And then from this place of acceptance and allowing yourself to, even though things are messy, I am choosing joy. Even though I didn't finish decluttering, I am choosing to connect with what excites me. And even though things are messy, I choose to take it step by step. And then when you do those things, as BD says, you start making progress. You start connecting with joy even though things are messy. But you are working towards what you want, not focusing on what you don't want. So it's a beautiful example. Emilio, can you record a tapping meditation for decluttering and trauma? I can try, Amy, I guess. So when I take time to rest, I feel guilty. I was an athlete growing up in the no pain, no gain era, trying to break that cycle. Yeah, Melanie, I can feel you. Sometimes in this age where we live in now, like doing nothing, just being, it just feels so weird. It feels that we are wasting time. It feels that there is always something to do. It feels that someone needs us and other people won't understand what we are doing. Are you being lazy? So it's very difficult sometimes to just be, but it's something that we have to nurture, right? Yeah. So guys, thank you so much for being here today. I hope that you found some value. I hope that you can find deeper intentions to get started your decluttering journey, whatever that is for you. As always, if you can donate and if you can support my work with a donation, I will be very, very grateful for it. How to move forward from here, you can enroll in one of my courses if you want. I have a course called Creating Your Peaceful and Clutter-Free Home, and I have a course about executive functioning skills. I have a course about time management. I have a course about self-care and about minimalism, and one about procrastination. So many courses to choose from Depending where you are at, one of them may call you more than the other. And my invitation is to follow your intuition as much as you can and take the next available step for you. I also have a lot of recordings. If you don't have the Members Plus membership to access the courses, I also have recordings, free tracks that you can listen to about many different topics. And yeah, and if you need extra support, I work with a few people every month, one-on-one. So you can join if you want, or you can get on the wait list, and then I will tell you when I have a spot available. But yeah, right now I have spots available. So if you need deeper support, if you need video calls with me one-on-one, or if you need accountability and support every day, every other day through WhatsApp, that's what I do with my clients, and it works really, really well. So whatever you need, ask for it, okay? Don't limit yourself, because there are so many options for you to keep moving forward in a way that feels good to you, okay? So thank you guys so much. Have an amazing rest of your day, and I hope to see you in the next live, okay? Adios.